joining us here from Monday Night Football and one of the best analysts in all the land talking ball. We'd love to do this with ESPN's Louis Riddick back here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, sir?
Better question. I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm better. Thank God.
Good to hear.
Thank you,
Good
man.
to hear.
Really appreciate that, Louis. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Let's jump into it. Which performance from this weekend sticks with you the most, Louis Riddick?
You know what, man? Rich, honestly, all of them stick with me because I really do think this draft class has the potential to be special as long as the teams that they went to do their work and make sure that they take care of these young players, bring them along at the proper speed, bring them along with the level of confidence of the coaching staff that is necessary for these guys to reach their potential. I mean, these guys, honestly, I know it's the first preseason game, but look, I was very impressed by their body language, their poise, some of the big plays they did hit. I think, right out of the gate, look, I know how complicated New England's offense is. And what Mac was able to do, particularly in the second half of their preseason game, as far as going hurry up, no huddle, calling plays at the line of scrimmage, changing protections, running that sophisticated passing game, I thought that was special. Justin obviously had a lot of fanfare going into his appearance in Chicago, and I think the athleticism was on display. The unique playmaking ability outside the pocket was on display right out of the gate. Zach Wilson, he just looks like he belongs, and I understand. Look, you're a Jet fan. You understand what the expectation is. They want a hero so bad in New York, and I think again, as long as they do right by the kid and take care of the other 52 spots in the rest of the organization, he's going to be good to go. I just listened to this, Trey Lance talk to you before he was drafted. I went up to North Dakota State. I was up in Fargo for his pro day. I got a chance to spend some time with him. That kid is flat out unique. He's a unicorn as a person. He's a star as a person. He went to the perfect place. You saw the potential that he has. I saw people making some big deals out of some of his statistics outside of the big play he hit for a touchdown. People realize now he had 3 drops that were absolute dimes, right on the money. Receivers just flat out dropped. He's going to be good. You're going to see him sooner rather than later. And Trevor Lawrence, he starts out fumbling the football, and then he's standing in the pocket looking like a big, tall rookie Dan Marino. I'm just saying body type wise, poise, delivery, the way the ball jumps out of his hands, the kind of velocity. These kids, man, Rich, I'll tell you what, and I know it's early, okay? But this is the fun part for me, the projection part of this.
Yep.
Quarterbacks fail. A lot of players fail. I think more players fail in the NFL because people don't do right by them organizationally. And I think this group right here, all of them, have the potential to be special. And I think what will determine the success failure of these kids, absent some kind of boneheaded decision they make off the field or some kind of freak injury, is the organization's messing them up. Because I think these guys had the potential to be one of those draft classes, like we talk about the 2004 draft class, like we talk about the great draft class. I believe, what was it, 83? They had the potential that 10, 15 years from now, we're talking about this class that way, if these organizations take care of them.
Louis Riddick here on the Rich Eisen Show. Of course, now the ultimate question is the when. When do we see them?
Sure.
Even though, again, I'm genuinely nervous that Trevor Lawrence might not be doing enough to be named the starter in Jacksonville, Florida. So he could just place him aside. Zach Wilson's going to get the gig right from jump. There's no question about that. The other guys, okay, with Jimmy Garoppolo being in San Francisco and having already taken this team to a Super Bowl, and I understand you could say that others took them, but he was the quarterback of that team. And then you've got also in New England with Cam Newton sitting there. And if anybody's sitting there, well, how's Belichick going to – what a tough decision for Belichick. And Belichick's like, how about Brady and Bledsoe holding my beer on that front? So let's place that one aside as well. The one that fascinates me is Chicago because Dalton is new there. It's not like he's got any sort of skin in the game in that locker room with his teammates. and Fields looked the way that he did, if he does that against the Bills, even against the Bills twos, I understand that's a tough assignment against the Rams on a Sunday night on NBC with Donald and Ramsey. But what do you think about Fields starting week 1? The Bears just ripping the Band-Aid off and just going. What do you think of that idea, Louis?
You know, Rich, I think it wouldn't be shocking. And I don't necessarily feel as though it would be, and I understand why you use the analogy. I don't necessarily feel as though it'll be ripping the Band-Aid off because of this. People want to make a lot about the fact, or a lot out of the fact, that Matt Nagy, the head coach, his job status at the end of this year could be in question or up for review, however you want to term it. And
right.
No kidding, he knows that. So what? I mean, he gets that. We all get that. We're all up for review. He, knowing him like I do, is not making his decision for Justin based off of that. He truly, and if you know Matt Nagy, you know his story and how he came up and how he came into this league and how he got his start, this is about as genuine a guy as I know. And I know him pretty damn well. He wants to do right by Justin. He wants this young man to be that quarterback for the city of Chicago that they basically have never had. And that's why I think of all the quarterbacks, everyone is so enamored with that situation because of him being drafted by a blue blood team that of all the great players that they've had, they've never had that quarterback, that one. So if Justin can prove to him that given some of the deficiencies that they have, particularly on the offensive line, remember, now they signed Jason Peters. That's for a reason, because their offensive tackles are not good. And Matt knows it, and Ryan Pace knows it, and everybody who watches football knows it. If he feels as though Justin can protect himself from a protection standpoint, making sure he's got the guys covered up that he needs to have covered up, that he's able to protect himself against free rushers when teams try to blitz his brains out if he is in the game, which is what they will do, then he will put him in there. And that could be week 1 if he feels it's comfortable, if he feels he's ready. It could be week 4. It could be week 8. He really is not basing this on anything other than when is he ready to go, when can it be one of those where then the trajectory is a stair step up. And I think we all, as football fans in the city of Chicago, for damn sure, would like for it to be week 1, because we all saw what he just did. We see the electric athleticism, but Matt truly, Rich, is trying to make this decision about the long term, about being great, not just now, but being great forever. For Justin not being able to just win now and this team be able to win now, but for Justin to be able to win forever and for this team to be set up for a long time, forever in the future. He really is, and I believe that. I really do believe it. It's just a matter of how does this thing trend over the next 2 to 3 weeks, and Justin's going to control that. And I believe that organically speaking, that's how he's going to do it. Personally, I'm selfish just like everyone else. I want to see him week 1.
Sure.
Because the kid is a freak, man. And all the stuff about is he committed to being great? Is he willing to go the extra?
That's
the
crazy.
Whole scouting axiom up. Is he first in and last out? Will he get rid of all the distractions? Is he all football all the time? I'm telling you, I know Matt, again, very well. It has been all business from day one, and the kid has heard all of this. He's heard people question him about all of this. And from all accounts in Chicago, he is about as lasered in as you could possibly be. And I really do think they've got something special going on there, man. Look, again, the fan in me hopes that he plays right out of the gate.
Me too, Louis.
Right out of the gate.
Me too, Louis Riddick here on the Rich Eisen Show. And sometimes I also think, from my own experience, it can be overthought too, And again, I'm not there, as you point out, I'm not there in meeting rooms. I'm not there, in weight rooms. I'm not there, in any way, shape, or form, boots on the ground. So I'm sitting here, I'm sitting wherever I am looking in on this. And with my own experiences, and everybody's their own individual. I just remember the way that Deshaun Watson got his first start. He got his first start because his coach put him in the middle of a game in week 1 and then got the start the next week on a short week in Cincinnati. When you want to talk about lack of protection, they were down to tight ends being thrown on the offensive line due to concussions and all sorts of stuff. And Watson was in Cincinnati. I saw with my own 2 eyes. He ran it in from midfield for a touchdown, which was the only touchdown of the game, against Andy Dalton, I might add. They got the win, and all of a sudden Deshaun Watson is born in the NFL. And I'm wondering why not give that a whirl for Justin Fields, is what I'm pretty much sitting here thinking.
And you know what? I mean, that's a great argument. That's a great argument for it. There's no perfect. There's no way of knowing with 100% certainty,
right,
if Justin would have the same fate, so to speak, right? We don't know that, and they have to take their best guess, or their most educated guess, as to whether or not that would be the case if they did that with him. And I mean, we don't know. I mean, I can give you examples of quarterbacks who came into the league. Yes. I can give you one, right? I mean, who get their heads beat in, right? And they're not the same. It's just they just start seeing ghosts, man. They just do. Because look, as a guy who plays defense, and you're around great players all the time with what you do, Rich, and you know the defensive players are kooky, man. They're trying to put quarterbacks under the turf.
Correct.
And when they get hit like that over and over again, I don't care what kind of guy you are, you start flinching, man. He just doesn't want that to happen to Justin, and we don't know if it will or if it won't. And I'm with you. Look, his athleticism will probably be able to negate some of those hits and some of those scenarios where he'll be put in harm's way behind that Swiss cheese of an offensive line they got in Chicago. Obviously much better than what Andy Dalton can, and will give them a better chance than what Andy Dalton can. I'm not a fool. I'm not going to argue for Andy Dalton over Justin Fields if Justin has enough of a grasp of the offense. I'm just saying I really do think that, just as almost in a fatherly, mentor way, Matt has this affection for this kid in a way that kind of almost transcends football. Like, he just wants this guy to succeed in a way that no one at that position has succeeded in Chicago. He really has taken this on in a personal way. And he's seen how when you do it just right, he's seen how guys can become the kind of guys that get $500 million contracts, because he was in Kansas City when they did this with Patrick.
Right.
So he understands it. We'll see what he does with it.
Louis Riddick here from ESPN Monday Night Football here on the Rich Eisen Show. What do you think starts for the Saints? What do you think Sean Payton's thinking going through after what he just saw? First preseason game, Packers in his house to start week 1. What are your thoughts on that subject?
I as much as Sean has told me and our Monday Night crew personally when we talk to him that he believes that Taysom Hill is a starting quarterback in the NFL, I have a hard time believing that when the full evaluation is done and all the reps have been logged, that Jameis does not come out on top there. I just have a hard time believing that. And I'm going to stick with that based off of what I saw on tape in that first game, which Taysom started off pretty hot and looked pretty good. Look, he had some nice throws. Jameis had some nice throws, too. Jameis is a super, super talented quarterback. He really is, who seems to have had something click on in his head as far as understanding, look, man, I got to knock some of this nonsense off as far as putting my team in jeopardy. I have a hard time believing he doesn't come out on top there. If he doesn't, you can count me in the category of being just knocked out of my chair shocked. I think he's the quarterback opening weekend.
What do you think Belichick does with his quarterback scenario?
Ooh-wee. I just know this. I don't know. I mean, you know, man. You know as well that Bill is about as assassin, cold-hearted and calculated and objective about this thing as anybody in the history of this business. I think they know that right now, Mac is coming on strong. They know it. They see it. They see it. And, look, I was in Cleveland when Bill gave the old Bernie Kosar diminishing skills press conference. I was there. We all saw what he did to Drew in New England. Bill doesn't care. Bill cares about your feelings. Bill cares about the bottom line. And for them to basically articulate that Mac is coming, I think within the first month of this season, I think Mac is starting. And I said this: what great freaking theater would it be if Mac was starting against Tom Week 4?
Yes, on Sunday Night Football, Brady's return. And he's wearing Brady's college number. Man. Yeah, man. It's just
that would be a great one. And you know what? That's what I'm hoping for.
Me too.
And that's nothing against Cam, because I know,
of course,
I'm part of the Cam army. All right, I love the guy. I could not have had more fun talking to a guy last year than Cam Newton. But as Cam said, they did the right thing. He knows what's happening. Mm-hmm. He understands the business. It's a replacement business. That's what it is. That's what the NFL is a replacement business. And he sees his replacement. And what a hell of a thing that has to be, man, when you know, like, this guy is there for that. That's still kind of wild to me, even having seen it happen and been a part of it. It's still just kind of wild. But I think we see Mac. I still will say within the first month of the season, he's in. I was just reading reports here before I came on here to talk to you that Mac was throwing dimes in their joint practices 30 miles from here, in Philly at the NovaCare complex in their joint practices, that he was looking good there.
So we see you and Greasy and Big Bag of Leaves, Steve Levy, in New Orleans a week from tonight, Jaguars Saints. Is that where we see you?
We sure do, but we see us even sooner than that. You're going to see us on Friday
night
in Arizona. Yep. You get to see Patrick Mahomes, not Patrick.
That's correct. Let's do that, because we know you've run afoul of that before, Louis. Let's get that all T's crossed and I's dotted. And Patrick.
Although Eric Bieniemy called him Pat, nobody said anything about it, but it's all good. And we get to see hopefully we get to see Kyler Murray.
Yep, and everybody.
That's a good game for us, man. That's a good game Friday night.
Okay, Chiefs Cardinals Friday night on the worldwide leader in sports, and then Jaguars and Saints. Again, I'll be on the edge of my seat to see if Trevor Lawrence can win the job that night. Every single snap. You take care of yourself, Louis. I'm going to look for my number throughout the season quite a bit, if you don't mind.
My man, you bet. Take care of yourself.
One of the best. You bet. One of the best, Louis Riddick. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.